Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill on a Tuesday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill, Casey Gaines, Taylor Sharp, back there on the ones and twos. Normal Tuesday guest coming at you, Glenn West. Coming up in 30 minutes, Sharif Ishak at the bottom of hour number 2. We'll talk with Glenn about the Fighting Tigers. Talk a little black and gold with Sharif at 2:30. Mr. Hill, how are you?
I'm slightly confused right now because I was watching some Yell Leader videos last night, and I didn't know if to laugh or just totally be cringed out. So I'm still trying to figure that out. But I think I'll probably laugh a little bit.
Look, they it's part of their deal. It's what they want to do over there. Not going to spend a ton of time on it, but it's weird. And they need to get some better personalities leading the yells, or else they can continue to hit the internet, and people are going to keep cringing and laughing and all of that. But they got other problems over in College Station. Speaking of problems, are there problems with LSU? I've been curious as to the feelings on this LSU team after a win. I said back in September, I think if you're an LSU fan, this year is a little bit different than we're used to. We are used to putting together a body of work in an effort to win the West, in an effort to win the SEC, in an effort to win the national championship. And well, I guess you can certainly still make that case because you're 2-0 in the league. My opinion, I think held by the majority, is that this team's not going to win the West. They're not going to win the league, and they're not going to win the national championship. It's more of a week-to-week thing. You go out there, you play a game. You might win, you might lose. You come back the next week, you play another game. If you're a program that's fighting for a championship and you lose your second game in the conference and understand you're not going to the conference championship game and you're not going to the playoff, that's a pretty sobering deal, and it may be tough to get back on the saddle as a fan when your goal isn't actualized. I think the goals changed a little bit for this year. So when LSU wins the game on Saturday, my reaction is that's awesome. I'm pumped that you went on the road and beat Auburn. But there has been a fair amount on my Twitter feed in conversations I've had of, yeah, but Auburn's terrible and our offense sucks and this is really bad. And I don't think that, that's outlandish for that to be your feeling. They did not play well on offense in the game on Saturday. They didn't play well on offense in the first half against Florida State. They didn't play well on offense in the first half against Mississippi State. They didn't win the game, but it's worth a conversation moving forward. So I went and dug up a ton of stats. But first I'll toss it to you. When you big picture look at this LSU offense, are you terrified? Do you think there's adjustments that can be made? Do you think development can happen? Do you think they'll get a lot better? Where do you think this offense is, and where is it going?
Right now, I just think this is an offense who has really struggled to, get started fast, and especially against Power 5 respectable opponents. And I think that's something that you really can't depend on going forward. If that's going to be your brand of football, you're going to see this offense continue to struggle. But I do still think there's talent in this offense, and what they did with the offensive line, moving some guys around, getting Dellinger back this week, I think will be huge. I think inserting Emory Jones at right tackle was huge. Love what they're doing in the run game. Denbrock is sticking with it. A lot of times you think of that Cincinnati offense, they're passing the ball every single play, but that's something that I think they want to continue to try to do is run the ball up the middle. And I still have so much trust in the weapons they have on the outside. I think the biggest issue going forward is going to be, the development of Jaden Daniels as a passer. That's something that they're going to have to really, work on and really get him, trying to really target these guys down the field, not holding on to the ball forever. I know he's got to be getting spies and mush rushes for the rest of the season. I don't think anyone's got to be flying up the field, giving him those big rush lanes. So right now there's still some good things you can point to and say, hey, we can build on that. But I think if this team can kind of shock the world and kind of, win a lot more games than expected, it's got to really be on Jaden Daniels and what he does as a passer.
When I look at the statistics, the first thing I want to do, because we haven't done really this exercise with LSU, because after 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks, everyone's schedule is a little bit wonky, and things may not be representative based on some outliers that happen early in a season. I think at this point, 5 games in, LSU having played a one-loss Florida State team, an Auburn team on the road, what we think is a pretty solid Mississippi State team, and then 2 non-conference games, one of which against an SCS school that should have been on the field with you. But I don't think that LSU's schedule is so heavy or so light that we can't dive in. I think it's pretty representative of what most of the country's played. Most of the countries that's really good has put somebody in a body bag. Most of the country that's terrible has played somebody that's really good and maybe didn't do anything, but then they balance it out with some of the lesser teams on their schedule. I think LSU's 5-game sample size relative to the rest of the country is fairly representative. So I looked at passing offense, rushing offense, third down conversions, 10-plus yard runs, 20-plus yard passes, sacks allowed, total offense, scoring offense. I looked at a lot of stats. Where does LSU rank in the Southeastern Conference? Where does LSU rank nationally? And this is one of those instances where I think the statistics really do bear out where LSU sits right now. They are not in the top 4 in the Southeastern Conference in any statistical offensive category there, except for 10-plus yard runs. And there have been a couple of those by the running backs, but Jaden Daniels has had his fair share of 10-plus yards runs as a quarterback as well. So not surprising that that's the one thing that they're 4th in. Everything else is right in the middle of the pack. Passing offense, 8th, middle of the pack. Rushing offense, 5th, middle of the pack. Third down conversions, 6th, middle of the pack. Total offense, 7th, right in the middle. Scoring offense, 6th, right in the middle. The one thing they're two things they're very poor at, and this is exactly what the Jaden Daniels conversation centers around. They're 13th in a 14-team league in sacks allowed. Young offensive line, quarterback that's not putting the ball in harm's way. They are dead last in the league, 14th in passes that gain 20 yards plus. So you're not stretching the field. He's holding the ball too much. And everywhere else, you're just about average. And I think when you watch this team, that's what they've been.
Yeah, it is. And I think you can't struggle the amount they have, especially in the first half against Power 5 teams, and expect you to be kind of dominating the league in any statistical category. So you have had those big splash runs with Jaden, but, like I keep saying, teams are going to take that way. Good coordinators aren't going to allow him to use his legs. So you're going to have to find another avenue to find explosive plays. You saw Goodwin have that big-time run. You saw Emory kind of mix it in there a little bit with his touchdown run. You saw Kane. I know it was against New Mexico, but he had that little run he had. So I think it's really going to be, if this offense is going to skate by with the passing game looking the way it is, you're going to have these running backs have some big-time performances because to sit here and think, Jaden's going to just change everything he's done all season overnight or, Saturday morning and just light them up with the pass game. I don't know if I'm expecting that type of jump in quarterback play. So if you can continue to stick with the run game, I think Denbrock's done a phenomenal job of that. Maybe mix some more stuff. I love that play they started mixing in there where they had Mason Taylor run the flat and giving them a kind of a two-way option if he can run it or just dump it off to the flat. More things like that. Maybe mix some more screen games in, try to get the ball out to the receivers quickly. But yeah, I am alarmed by this passing attack. I think when you pair the young tackles on the outside and you pair a quarterback who's just, doesn't really want to put the ball in harm's way, I think you're really, really holding this roster back, especially when you look at Kayshon Boutte, who's really, you look at his stats right now. It's just I never thought they would look this way when you're 5 games into the season. So maybe they can turn it around. I know that's what Coach Kelly, was beating down everyone's throat on Monday. We got to be more aggressive in the passing game. If you can't do that, it's just going to be very, very difficult to have explosive plays and really use the strong suit of that team, and that's the weapons that you have on the outside.
131 FBS schools in college football, 131. LSU 117th in the country in 20-yard pass gains. That is almost last. There are only 14 teams worse than you in that category. And when you look at Kayshon Boutte and Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors and Jeray Jenkins and Chris Hilton, Jack Besh, and you look at all the guys they've got out there that you figure can make plays down the field, to be that bad and be last in the conference is something I did not realize in watching that LSU had allowed the second most sacks in the league. And, certainly they had some issues blocking Florida State at times. I thought they did a pretty good job against Mississippi State for the most part. And then Auburn got after them a little bit at times as well. And that's what's going to happen if teams don't respect your run game at all. And you've got a quarterback who, as opposed to taking a shot down the field, is going to hold the ball a little bit longer, and they're going to get back to him. So the good news is, and this is something that we brought up yesterday on the show, is that this was like front and center of Brian Kelly's press conference. Mm-hmm. So it is not, and this is Charlie's favorite line, where Les said the engine's pretty stinking good. This is a guy who understands, hey, this is a huge problem we've got to go fix it, as opposed to, well, we won the ball game. We got to play good defense, get a couple turnovers, run the ball a little bit, and win a close one late. He doesn't appear to feel that way about it. He appears to feel like we'll get our butts kicked if we play like this.
No, I think that's very staring you right in the face. I think everyone in this country respects what Tennessee has on offense, and I think you'd be fooling yourself to think, we're going to hold these guys to 14. We're going to hold these guys to 10. The quarterback doesn't turn it over. They're going to be going at NASCAR-type pace, and they're gonna put points on the board. It's tough. It's tough to deal with. It's hard to say you're going to shut those guys down. So as an offense, you have to score points, and you can't start slow. The last thing you want to do, I can tell Tiger fans right now, you're not coming down back from 17-0 against this Tennessee offense. It's just not happening. So you can forget about those dreams. You can't struggle this first half. I know the defense has played well all season. They forced turnovers. I just think that avenue is going to be difficult to do this week. We're going to have to start fast. Maybe they get the run game going, but if Jaden doesn't, make those big-time throws down the field, you're going to see a quarterback on the other side that's not afraid at all to throw the ball down the field and hit his big-time targets.
No doubt about it. You got to get it moving down the field. We'll talk about that a ton. I want to talk about the running game at the top of hour number 2. I got some defensive stats to dig up at the bottom, at the end of hour number 1. First, I want to remind you to check out dropbiscuit.com. Browse our growing library. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to Pops, Fame, You Talking to Me, For the People, Well Stated, whatever Southern flavored audio biscuit you may fancy. Dropbiscuit.com, where we house our podcasts here at Guarantee Media. Still a lot to get to here over the next 2 hours. Decided you're with us here on a Tuesday. If you're looking for something to do tonight, Pluckers Sports Trivia at 8:30. Nicholson location will be there doing some sports trivia. Coming up on the show, 1:30 Glenn West, 2:30 Sharif Ishak. When we come back, Saints let somebody get away yesterday. We'll get Jeremy's thoughts on that. I've seen a lot of reaction to it. I don't know that mine's quite as strong. That's next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
LWCC is elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana each and every month here on Hunt and Hill. All month long in October, we're thrilled to tell you about Fresh Junkie Racing.
Yeah, Fresh Junkie Racing is a group of racing enthusiasts that have taken their love of racing and built a business providing citizens across the state a way to get moving and stay moving. Created by athletes for athletes, Fresh Junkie Racing hosts world-class racing events and triathlons right here in Louisiana, working on crowds across the globe to experience this place we call home.
They have 18 events every year. There are some coming up. The Huey P. Long Bridge Run is coming up Saturday, October the 15th at 8 o'clock in the morning. The Turkey Trot coming up on Thanksgiving Day, Thursday at 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock downtown in Baton Rouge. The Tammany Turkey Trot as well on Thanksgiving Day. Our Lady of the Lake Tiger 10K is coming up in December, so if you want to get involved in that, you can certainly do that with Fresh Junkie Racing. The Louisiana Marathon alone has a $5.2 million economic impact on the state. Hosting these triathlons, running events, they're helping people stay in great shape, but they're doing great work for our economy as well, and that's why we're thrilled to tell you about Fresh Junking all month long here on Hunt and Hill. Fresh Junkie Racing, this month's champion of Louisiana, presented by LWCC. LWCC is Louisiana loyal.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana Barbecue Sauce, Louisiana Molasses Mustard, Spicy and Sweet Barbecue Rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who do.
NFL is back. Our coverage starts Sunday at 10 a.m. with Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday with Jimmy Ott, immediately followed by the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers at noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
So I'll admit I was a little surprised that when I read on my Twitter timeline yesterday that the Broncos had signed Latavius Murray. We understand that he had spent some time in New Orleans, that the Saints grabbed him essentially off the couch when the Kamara stuff was going down, and he got some injuries and practice squad onto the active roster and take him to London, and he actually played pretty well on Sunday in London. But the Saints put him back on the practice squad. You figure Kamara's probably doing pretty well. They've hitched their wagon to Ingram. They're going to trust him to be the other piece to this puzzle here. And you don't have any special teams capabilities from Murray or Ingram or Kamara. So roster spots get a little tight, and the Broncos went to sign Latavius Murray. And the Saints offered him a spot on the 53 to keep him around. He decided, hey, they value Kamara, they value Ingram. I'm not going to get a shot here unless somebody else gets hurt. I'm going to go to Denver. Okay. I was surprised to see it, but in my opinion, this is not that big a deal. This is a 32-year-old running back who's okay. You've already got one of those. Mark Ingram's a 32-year running back who's okay. And if you want to yell from the mountaintops that Latavius Murray's a lot better than Mark Ingram, I would disagree. Would I rather have Latavius Murray than Mark Ingram? Probably. Is it so close I don't care? Yeah. I don't. Kamara's the guy. The other two guys are not lead backs in the NFL, in my opinion. They're 32 years old. I just don't think that this is some sort of huge deal. Saints fans, I think, are irritated that the 1-3 record is there, so people are a little cranky as it is. And the reaction to this has been kind of visceral. Like, I can't believe the Saints are asleep at the wheel. I hate Ingram. Get rid of him. They should have kept Murray. He was the best player in the – chill. I don't think he's that good.
Yeah, I think it's when things are going wrong for a team, they got to find any little thing to point at it and try to be upset about and make that the reason why you're losing football games. And that's just the way fans are thinking, especially when you start the season in the fashion that the Saints win, losing to a couple teams you probably had no business losing to. So how I feel about the running back situation, I think it should be Kamara-led. Get him healthy as quick as possible. He should be the guy you're giving carries to. And if Saints fans aren't mistaken, I think Latavius Murray's kind of done this same song and dance with them before. So it shouldn't be too shocking that he's trying to find his way out of New Orleans again. But as far as their run game goes, I think, they're going to try to get Kamara the ball and Ingram the ball. Is the production going to be that different? Like, is Latavius going to be rushing for 1,000 yards or anything like that? I'm not ready to go there yet. So I think, I kind of have to agree with you. I don't think it's the biggest deal. It's not. Is it going to change your win total for the season having Murray on this roster? I mean, he just played in the game last week. You said he had a great game. He still lost. So
And 54 yards. I mean, it's not.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think so. I don't think it's moving the needle to where you're losing football games because you don't have Latavius Murray on the roster. So for that reason alone, I think you can move on past him and get Kamara back out there. And then Ingram to me, he's a serviceable backup. He's got to run the ball hard, especially in short yardage and goal line situations. So I think the Saints are just fine at the running back position.
This to me, well, I think they'd be okay at running back with what they had 24 hours ago with Kamara, and I think they're okay now. I don't think they're great because I think Mark Ingram's fine. Like, he's a mediocre player at this point in his career, and I think the same of Latavius Murray. This is, to me, the equivalent of quibbling over the fact that your favorite MLB baseball team lost its third best right-handed reliever. It's like, yeah, might he do something to help you late in the game? He could. Are there other guys on the roster that you'd rather have in there making plays? Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't seem that big a deal to me, and I'm just a little, I guess as I talk myself through it, the visceral reaction is more so because they're 1-3. If they were 3-1 and the Broncos signed Latavius Murray and the injury report came out for tomorrow's practice and said Kamara was a full participant, everybody would be like, okay, whatever. I really think that's the case, but they're just they watched him break off a couple of 10-yard runs on Sunday. They're frustrated with Ingram putting the ball on the ground, which he's done, and that's the way that you're kind of feeling watching it. But again, Ingram's got to stop fumbling, and Kamara's got to get healthy. Yeah. And if Kamara's not healthy and you're leaning on 30-plus-year-old running backs to carry the football 20 times in the game, that's not a very good running back room by NFL standards.
Yeah, that's where it kind of, it gets real tricky because we know how important turnovers are in football games. If you're a running back, your most important job, you got to take care of the football, especially if you're not the every down guy. If you're going through a season, you're getting 400 carries, you have a couple fumbles in there, okay, that's understandable. But when you're the backup and you really only ask to maybe get 5 or 6, at the max 8 carries in a game, you can't cough the ball up, and if you do, you can't give it to the other team. And so that part's definitely going to have to get fixed for Mark, and it's going to have to get fixed in a hurry. I think the importance of Kamara, getting him back in this offense is just so important because, you go into the season and you have a plan of like, okay, we got this guy, we got Michael Thomas, we got Kamara, okay, this is kind of how we're shaping this offense, and you kind of remove those pieces from the puzzle. And sometimes it makes it very, very difficult to, kind of have the level of success you want to have. And I think that's been on full display for the Saints, all season. It seems like just a cumulative effect from last year and this year, just not being healthy, not having your full team out there week in and week out. And, it's the NFL. It's very difficult to win, especially when the drop-off is so big from some of these guys. You're paying, a lot of money in their respective position group. So, yeah, I think losing Latavius, it's not that big of a deal. I think for the Saints, you just got to get Kamara healthy.
And for those that would suggest, well, why wouldn't you just cut Dwayne Washington and keep Latavius Murray? Well, as I just mentioned, Jacob was all over this morning on their show. Dwayne Washington plays special teams for all your units. And you only have 53 guys out there. You got to have guys play special teams. And if Ingram and Murray and Kamara are not going to be out there, you've got to have guys on your team that can play special teams. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know every player on every special teams unit and can go through their job description and who's merits a roster spot and who doesn't. That's above my pay grade. But I can tell you, you always see Dwayne Washington on special teams, and they need guys out there in special teams. So at that point, that's a more valuable piece than Latavius Murray and his 54 yards on Sunday.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that. And yeah, it's when we see a guy score a touchdown, maybe it helps some people's fantasy teams. You never know what these people's what their intentions are with some of this stuff. Maybe people are trolling, but I don't think it's not going to make or break your season if he's on this roster. So you kind of just move forward. I think it's just so important. I know he's dealing with a rib injury. Those are tricky because it makes you tough to breathe. And as a running back, you're always going to be getting hit in your ribs in some sort of capacity. So hopefully Kamara can get back from this, because if he can't, man, this offense is really good. I think it's going to just struggle in the run game.
It's just a natural thing. When you come off such a wonderful streak, an era of football, and some pieces start to be pulled away from the puzzle, and the puzzle looks differently, and it looks incomplete, and it's not what you want, the blame game starts getting played pretty quick, and everyone's going to react a little bit more emotionally than you would have previously. I mean, I yearn for the day when that happens to Alabama football, because it's coming. We're not there yet, but it's coming whenever Nick quits. And it's just natural to want to inherently question the new guy when things aren't as good as the old guy. And that's what Dennis Allen's going to be fighting against every day of his Saints career, unless he goes on a run of multiple years where they win at the level they were winning with under Sean Payton. And I realize that last year the record wasn't great, but you understand the massive amount of injuries they had to try to overcome. And then previous to that, they were a perennial playoff team that most years you thought had a real chance to win the Super Bowl. And right now you sit here at 1-3 and you think, well, we lost to the freaking Panthers and went over there and lost to the Vikings. And I mean, couldn't score against the Bucs. Like, this is a disaster. And it's too early for that because there are so many teams in the NFL bunched right up in there that have about the same record, and the Saints are right there. But Dennis Allen's going to have to fight against that at all times. And again, it all ties back to, well, how do we get on this topic? Because Saints fans were so bummed out that Latavius Murray left, it's just they're going, well, Lewis doesn't know what he's doing. They're asleep at the wheel. They're not paying attention. I promise you that's not the case. They just understood where the value was on their roster and thought it was best that, they didn't overextend themselves for Latavius Murray and have that roster spot available for somebody else.
Yeah, I think if you do, decided, let's say the Saints, in a perfect world for all these Saints fans on Twitter, they do bring back Latavius Murray. Now what? Now you have Ingram, Kamara's going to be back, and then you have Latavius. To me, they're the same back. They're both, first, second down runners. Like, and what are you going to do with that? Like, that's just, it doesn't make sense.
Direct snaps to Taysom Hill, you're just running half the time. I mean,
yeah, and then neither one of those guys play special teams at all. So it's like you're literally wasting two roster spots. Or I would say one, because you kind of got two of the virtually the same backs, and they're not playing special teams. So I think the Saints, you can move on from that. It's not going to affect your win total. Got to relax, Saints fans. Still early in the season. The Bucs are losing. You think the Bucs get out to a racing start and be dominating the league.
Nope.
They're losing games. So you're still in. It's not the end of the world. You got to keep battling week in and week out.
We'll talk to Sharif Ishak in about an hour and 5 minutes about the black and gold. He is down in Metairie with the Saints. 104.5 ESPN and Acura of Baton Rouge asks for your support in helping us raise money for Folds of Honor. It's a nonprofit organization that provides families of fallen or disabled service members educational scholarships. To donate to this important cause, visit our website, 1045ESPN.com. This week, everybody who makes a donation is going to be entered to win tickets to see Judas Priest November the 18th at Raising Cane's River Center. Donate now at 1045ESPN.com from Acura Baton Rouge and 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Take a time out. Come back with Glenn West of Go 247. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hold down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill.
Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code 1045ESPN.
A lot of baseball on the docket for tonight because they don't have football. Cubs got two more chances to bet against them, as I've been telling you all year. They are a 1.5 run favorite at Cincinnati. I would just go ahead and say go with the Reds. Probably win some cash. Football coming back up this weekend. This FanDuel app is safe, secure, super easy to use. Sign up today. Promo code 1045ESPN for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code 1045ESPN. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. Refund issues and non-withdrawable free bet that expires 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. You're somebody who has a gambling problem and wants help. Call 1-877-770-STOP.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I am Juliette, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah! This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at Revelry.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. What did Sean Salisbury see from Andy Dalton? Peter Burns stops by to talk SEC. Join us Tuesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's Tuesday. It's 1:30. That means we go out to the phone lines. Glenn West, Go247, is our guest. Glenn, how are you?
Hey, guys. I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing quite well. We were reacting in the first segment to kind of the fan base's feeling about the win on the Plains at Auburn, and I think there's a section that's like, man, go to Auburn, get a win, down 17-0, great job. And then there's the section that goes, that offense was atrocious. That's going to get you killed moving forward. This team's not very good. Oh, no. I mean, where are you on that scale?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the middle. You know, I think that there's some certain concerns for this offense, but I think kind of Coach Kelly said it best. You know, it's really easy to kind of make corrections after a really ugly win than an ugly loss. And so, you know, the fact that they're still 2-0 in SEC play, and that they haven't played anywhere close to their best on offense, I think that's a sign that you can take positively from all this. But there's no doubt they need to do some extreme soul searching and try to find some answers with this passing offense in particular.
What's the biggest problem with the passing offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think Coach Kelly kind of hit it on the head yesterday. It sounds like it's aggression. You know, I think the accuracy of Jaden Daniels has been up and down this season, but what you haven't been able to see yet is him kind of take those shots downfield and really keep defenses honest over the top. And so, I mean, that's the reason you brought in a guy like Kyron Lacey. That's the reason you have guys like Jack Besh and Brian Thomas. You know, these are vertical players who can make some stuff happen. And so, I think that they really have to figure out, you know, a nice balance of not just doing the quick moving offense and the quick hitters, but they've also had some really great protection the last couple weeks, and Jaden hasn't really gone through his progressions in terms of finding a deep ball, and so that's just something that I think they need to have some answers for starting this weekend with Tennessee. I think they really like the fact that he hasn't turned the ball over, but Coach Kelly also told us yesterday that part of the reason they haven't turned the ball over is because they haven't been aggressive enough in the passing game, and so that needs to change.
A guy a lot of Tiger fans were waiting to see kind of come onto the scene. I think he did a good job with that last week. Is John Emery. How important do you think it is to kind of get him really going? And I personally think he should probably be the lead back of this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I mean, especially now with Armani Goodwin out, he's been kind of your most consistent. But John showed some really great stuff. I mean, not only just the 20-yard run there where he was just bouncing off guys for the what turned out to be the game-leading touchdown. But that catch he had out of the backfield, I think, is something that you want to see more of from him. He was able to turn on the jets there and open up a near 40-yard run after a catch. So if you can get him more involved in the passing game, if you can get just some more complimentary stuff from him, then I think he's absolutely a guy that deserves more touches. I think he's really kind of taken that role in stride, but. I've been really impressed with Josh Williams, too. I think he really kind of fits his role to a T, and he's done a really nice job for him.
Back to the passing game. Are there open receivers Jaden Daniels is not seeing or getting the ball to, or is there more to it than that in terms of they got to get guys open more consistently?
So I think it's definitely a mixture of both. I mean, this Auburn game last weekend, there were a number of times where, I was looking, you had a nice little vantage point just from looking over the top in Auburn's press box, and there were definitely some open receivers that were missed. Kayshawn on a couple times, Malik Neighbors a couple times. So there's some definite improvement that needs to go on there. But this is an all-around team effort thing, I think, offensively for LSU. You gotta game plan right. You gotta have the players that are out there making sure that they're doing the right things in terms of their routes and their cutting and where they need to be breaking off their routes. There's a lot of this that goes into it, and so it's definitely a mixture of two. But there were definitely some missed opportunities for LSU downfield last weekend.
Glenn West, Go247, our guest here on Hunt and Hill. Defensively, a lot of big plays from Auburn. That surprise you?
Yeah, I think particularly that most of the big plays happened through the passing game. I thought the run defense was pretty stout throughout the entire game. They held Tank Bigsby, I think, to 45 yards rushing, which was pretty good on him. But it was a little bit surprising that they gave up so many big explosive plays through the air because the secondary had been pretty consistent over the first months of the season, especially against that Mississippi State passing offense. You kind of hoped and expected that would kind of translate into an Auburn passing offense that is just nowhere near what Mississippi State is. But there were some communication issues, and I think some of it has to do with the kind of revolving door of guys that have been in and out in the secondary. You just kind of welcome back Joe Fuchsia. You just lost Major Burns. They kind of corrected it, I think, in the second half by putting Jarek Bernard-Converse back at safety. But there's some stuff there that I think they need to clean up in their communication in the secondary. But if they're able to do that, then I think they should be able to not give up so many of those plays because there were a lot of them.
Got a lot of back and forth going on in the Bayou 4 chat. Some people think this offense should go at a NASCAR tempo. I'm in the camp that they should probably slow it down, huddle up, keep that Tennessee offense off the field. What do you think would be the best approach going to this Tennessee game?
Yeah, I think you probably want to slow it up a little bit against Tennessee. We know their offense is explosive. They're going to want to get out and run. Their Coach Kelly told us yesterday they like to get the snap off, before 20 seconds reaches on the clock, and so that's a fast-moving offense. And so I think for LSU to combat that, you're going to want to see some methodical drives from LSU on Saturday. You're going to want to see them huddle up and get some balance in their offense, and we'll see. There just needs to be so many corrections with the passing game. I want to see this offense be more aggressive downfield, take a couple more shots to keep the defense honest, because if you're able to hit on some of those big plays downfield, it opens up the short area game for you as well. So I think it's just an all-around improvement that needs to happen with the passing game, and you need to see some consistency out of the runners as well.
Glenn West of Go247 chatting with us here on Hunt and Hill. We saw Jordan Travis have some success against LSU specifically on third down. I thought LSU did a better job on Will Rogers. This is a horse of a different color here with Hendon Hooker coming in. How does LSU slow this offense down?
Yeah, I mean, Hooker's kind of making an early Heisman kind of case for him and for Tennessee's offense. I mean, they're a team that likes to run the ball a lot. Hooker is a guy that can escape the pocket and run a bit himself as well. He's not always really looking to look downfield when he takes off, so or when he escapes the pocket. So he's going to be another one of those tricky guys like Travis that LSU's going to have to prepare for. I think the best way you do it is by I think starting off by stacking the box a little bit, kind of shutting the run game down. Trust that your secondary can make those communication adjustments, because I do think that there's enough talent here in your secondary to at least be able to hold down the passing offense a little bit. It's just when Hooker and when those running backs are able to break it to the outside and really open up the rest of the offense, that it's going to be really difficult for LSU's defense to kind of keep up with that.
I think the biggest frustrating thing for me is watching this offense is not seeing their best player get opportunities to make plays. How do you think, or do you think that's going to be a emphasis this week to try to get Keyshawn the ball?
I do. I mean, that was the first question that was posed to Coach Kelly yesterday. It's from everything that we've heard and from everything, from around the program, he's doing all the right things. And he was open a lot in that Auburn game. He's, the way Kelly described it, he's controlling what he can control, which is just, running his route, getting open, doing the things the offense asks him to do. And it's on Daniels and it's on this offense to get him the ball. I mean, he is an explosive player. I mean, I recall one play this last weekend where they kind of set up a screen pass for him, but instead of hitting him on the screen, Jaden went the opposite way and hit Josh Williams in the backfield, and he had a 3 or 4 yard loss on the pass. So there's some opportunities there where they need to capitalize on getting Keyshawn the ball, whether it's in the screen, short area game, just to get him going a little bit, and then you kind of open it up downfield. But he definitely needs to be involved more.
Glenn, you got a chance to see Matt McMahon's basketball squad out there for a practice. Anything of note?
Yeah, it's fun getting to watch guys that are kind of at your eye level. So I mean, that's fun. We had a nice chance to kind of watch for about 35, 40 minutes. They were doing a lot of individual drills, a couple team drills mixed in as well, but they look good. I mean, they look athletic. They look like they're a team that's trying to learn their on-court chemistry a little bit. They're trying out a whole bunch of different lineups and rotations, and so until we get a better understanding of what this team looks like as fall progresses, there's not going to be a whole lot to know. But they're certainly in those early phases of implementing the offensive defensive schemes, and I think it's going to be a really fun team to watch this year.
You can go over to the box and interview Paul Skeens if you're feeling a little bit lonely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Glenn, we appreciate some time, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
He is Glenn West, Go 247. For those not aware, Glenn is 6'10". So not a lot of guys on his eye level, but when he covers basketball, you do get a little bit of that. And Paul Skeens, the Air Force transfer, is quite tall as well. Gervais gave him a little bit of that last year too. So every once in a while, covering athletes, you may run across somebody that can reach up to 6'10".
I'm not. I'm right here at 6'1". I'm cooling right here, baby. I'll let Glenn take care of that. We might could have used Glenn. A couple hook shots, a couple rebounds last year.
Mm-hmm. Got tuba players doing it when I was covering the team. So journalists, tuba players, whatever. You can find tall people. All right, we appreciate Glenn every single Tuesday at 1:30. Sharif Ishak with us in 45 minutes. We'll come back, revisit the LSU run game, some of the statistics from Saturday night, and kind of where we see it go moving forward. I think Jeremy and I may differ on this one. We'll close out hour number 1 next. It's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Reliable roofing and construction, reliableroofing.br.com.
So happy to tell you guys about Reliable Roofing, a family-run, owned, and operated residential roofing company. They've been in business since 2008 with over 30 years of roofing experience.
Lionel Hayes, born and raised in Louisiana. His son Jared, born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They are here to serve their community. If you are in the situation that I find myself in right now, where your insurance carrier is non-renewing because they're moving out of the state, it's happening a lot. You're going to have to get a new carrier to come on your home. They're going to send somebody to inspect your roof. If it's not up to par, they're not going to insure the home, or they're going to charge you a ton to do it because they understand the roof is not in great shape. You need a roof inspection, repair, replacement. Reliable Roofing and Construction can do that for you, certainly to satisfy your new homeowner's insurance carrier. Every job, 5-year labor warranty. Every job, Lionel is going to visit that site. He's not going to just send a crew out there, get it done, and leave. He's going to give his stamp of approval because he cares, and he's going to be right there in the Baton Rouge community when your job is done. So Reliable Roofing and Construction is your one-stop shop for all things roofing. ReliableRoofingBR.com.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah!
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital.
Me, Jimmy Ott and Mike Delicano for the Tuesday edition of Game Time presented by Bet Rivers. We're at Dozy Place on Government Street in the heart of Mid-City. Game Time presented by Bet Rivers, 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Wrapping up hour number 1 here on a Tuesday. Reminder, if you're looking for something to do this evening, 8:30, Pluckers on Nicholson Sports Trivia. Be watching some sports on TV, potentially Aaron Judge. I know you've seen a few cut-ins. Game might just be on, not even a cut-in. You want to watch him try to hit 62 or watch the Cubs, you do that. I'll be doing a little bit of that. But more importantly, we play sports trivia, have something cold to drink, something good to eat, bring a team out there. We have a lot of fun on Tuesday nights, so come on out to Pluckers on Nicholson. Jeremy, this is something I just can't speak to at all. Garrett Dellinger broke his hand, missed a week. They put a plate in it, and it sounds like he may try to give it a go this week. How hard is that? I mean, to play offensive line with probably a club on your hand?
Yeah, I actually broke my my hand my junior year. It was actually, I think it's all Alabama's fault. They came to one game, Burton Burns comes to a football game, and I break my hand in that game. But I was like a little psychopath to me. I saw that cast off and tried to go back out there that next week. But more of the story is you can definitely play through it. It's just your pain tolerance. If it's not something where it's like you shattered all of your bones in there, if it's just one or two in there, you can play through it. He's going to put a cast on and figure it out. I think if he can have his hands free or his fingers free, I think that would make it a lot easier avenue. But if he has an entire club on, then that's going to be very difficult to control some of these SEC defensive linemen. So if he can have his fingers free, I think he can definitely do it.
I mean, I have no idea, and that's something we'll just have to see on Saturday. And maybe his fingers are free, but you have to grab to block. I mean, you can't. It's not like flag football where you put your hands behind your back and like try to get in the way when you're like 6. The whole thing is grabbing people's jerseys. Like that is pass blocking and run blocking. And I just think but they're not going to put him out there, I don't think, if he can't do it. He had been one of the highest performing LSU linemen when it didn't come to snapping the ball. And you saw Miles Frazier struggle a little bit, moving sides against Auburn, a couple plays where they really took it to him, got a couple sacks. And so, Dellinger certainly would help. This is, a nice Tennessee defensive front. It's not all world. We'll get a little deeper into those weeds as the week progresses, but it would be huge to get him back if he can play at 85, 90, 95%.
No, it's huge. It's huge. And I think you kind of saw him kind of, start this season being the, highest graded lineman that we have. And that's the type of production we probably didn't think we'd be getting from this offensive line. So I think Dellinger, moving him to guard was a big thing for this offensive line. You kind of finally saw them take that leap against Mississippi State, especially in the run game. So hopefully it's not as bad as we may think. He can kind of have his fingers free and be able to help this offensive line, because if you get that offensive line back whole, then I think that even opens up the avenue more to you really trust this run game, which I think Denbar's going to continue to do, especially if you're not getting the protection in the pass game. Continue to do that, and I think Dellinger can be a big part of that.
I mean, I think you're going to need – this is going to be one of those deals where we can talk about it all week. We can talk about it as much as we want. We're not going to know until they start warming up and one of the beat writers gets up in there on Twitter and sees if Dellinger's going through with the ones or not. Goldie Rush usually sends me a little text when we're on the pregame show if he's down on the field level and is watching things go on. But that's one of those that Kelly was very short in updating the status on Yesterday. Said, look, he broke his left hand. We'll see as it goes day to day. Everybody's day to day. Bryce Young's day to day. Garrett Dellinger's day to day. Everybody's day to day at this point. Clearly, there are probably some that are going to be out for a little bit more significant amount of time. But it just would be so good as you continue to move these pieces on the offensive front. And that's just inevitable. You can't get through a football season with 5 offensive linemen playing every snap. It's just too physical, too much going on. And as you can see, it took 3 weeks and Garrett Dellinger breaks his hand. But if he can come back, I think it'll change a little bit of the way I feel about the game. Sadly, we won't find that out while we're still on the air here on Friday because they're not going to announce that on Thursday night. I mean, I guess he could. He's got a media availability on Thursday and his coach's show on Thursday night. He technically could. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I think if we've seen anything with Coach Kelly, he's going to try to have that competitive advantage up until the burning hours. And if Dellinger is playing, I don't think he's going to divulge that information and give Tennessee any extra time to prepare and watch his film and watch what he does well and watch what he doesn't do well. He's going to kind of leave it out there in the open. You're going to have to prepare for him, prepare for the backup, prepare for this guy, and just kind of put a little bit more on their table. It's always this chess match with coaches during the week. And I think if I know Coach Kelly the way we've kind of seen so far, he's not going to divulge that information. He'll kind of keep it to himself, especially if a guy really is day-to-day.
Congratulations to Adam Starnes of Denham Springs. Adam's our Week 5 winner in the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em Contest. He wins $50 to Twin Peaks gift cards. Don't forget to make your picks for Week 6 by 5 p.m. on Thursday. Play the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em today at 1045ESPN.com. That'll do it for us in the first hour of the show today. Fast-moving hour here on Hunt and Hill. We went deep into some statistics with this LSU offense to kind of see who they are and what they are, and the stats really do kind of bear out what you've seen over the first month and change of the season. If you missed that, catch it at 1 o'clock. Talked about Latavius Murray at 1:15. I just don't think it's a very big deal. Jeremy doesn't think it's a very big deal either. I think it's been exacerbated a little bit because people are a little cranky with their black and gold. Glenn West from Go247 was with us at 1:30. If you missed any of that, you can catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, where we're there every single day. Those of you hanging out in the Bayou 4 chat, we appreciate it. If you throw us a like, we would much appreciate that. Helps the algorithm, helps us get to more eyeballs, which we certainly appreciate y'all helping us out with. Hour 2, going to be a fast-moving hour, number 2 as well. Want to get into the running game. Josh Williams, John Emery. What do we want to see? What do we think we'll see? I've got some thoughts on that. I think Jeremy may disagree. College football hot seat is firing up. There was a huge move made a couple of days ago, and who potentially may be next. We'll talk about that at 2:15. And then Sharif Shashak on that struggling black and gold. What's the update on Jameis Winston, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas? We'll chat with Sharif about any and all of that. And, of course, we always wrap things up with Take It or Leave It to finish up our show. So that'll do it for a first hour here of Hunt and Hill. Looking through, I can't find this note, which is disappointing because we're about to run out of time in this hour. So if I can't find it, there it is. Let's just brew at the zoo. It's Friday, October 7th. Baton Rouge Zoo Foundation is hosting its 8th annual Brew at the Zoo. Come out to the zoo from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. and sample dozens of craft beers along with food from local vendors. Plus, enjoy some live music from Abby Lee. Purchase your tickets today at brzoobrew.org. That's brzoobrew.org. Found that read, got it done. Sports Center's coming up, hour 2 coming at you. It's Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $12,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana Barbecue Sauce, Louisiana Molasses Mustard, Spicy and Sweet Barbecue Rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Yankee slugger Aaron Judge 0 for 2 in the opener of a doubleheader today in Texas. He remains at 61 home runs on the season. That's one away from setting a new AL single-season record. Yankees and Rangers tied at 2, bottom third. NFL, the Steelers moving forward with Kenny Pickett and benching Mitch Trubisky. The rookie Pickett will make his first NFL start against the Bills on Sunday. After Pickett replaced a struggling Trubisky in the Week 4 loss to the Jets, Pittsburgh had to stay with its first-round pick, believes ESPN's Jeff Saturday.
Once you made the change last weekend, I'm assuming you do not want to put Mitch Trubisky back in the game after you've gone with your first-round pick and everybody's been awaiting his arrival.
Jeff Saturday on Barton Hahn. ESPN's Marcel Louis-Jacques reporting that Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa speaking with the NFL and NFLPA today as part of their review of how his concussion evaluation was handled during and after the Week 3 win over the Bills. Cowboys QB Dak Prescott meeting today with doctors for an update on his surgically repaired right thumb.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
To me, this team is exceeding expectations. They're 3-1 right now. I mean, in the best case scenario, what would we have said New York was going to win? 6 games, 7 games?
This and more. Wednesday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
1, 2, 3. Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of Hunt and Hill. Sharif Ishak with us in 30 minutes talking Hoodats. Sharif covering them down there for WDSU in Metairie. What's going on the injury front? What's going on the morale front? What's going on the Seahawks front? All that with Sharif coming up at 2:30. College football hot seat talk in 15 minutes. Heck is Wisconsin doing? Got some thoughts on that as well. But let's talk about the LSU running game, Jeremy. That's something you're very, very qualified to speak on. Brian Kelly had a few sound bites about it yesterday. And the first is about John Emery and how he's coming along and progressing.
The physical run was amazing, right? You know, I think we still have to settle him down a little bit in the passing game. He had the nice catch, obviously, up the sideline, soft hands. He needs to play with that kind of, calmness in the passing game. He got a little antsy the other time where he dropped it, but he's coming along. We can see it coming, and I just think it's just more reps for him, and he'll continue to settle in nicely.
Jeremy, I know football coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't been around them as much as you, but I've covered them and studied their moves very closely. They prefer safe to potential.
Mm-hmm.
When John Emery's dropping the ball, John Emery's slancy in pass protection, maybe not in the right spot, fumbles a football, that's going to drive you nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think they're going to hand it off to Josh Williams, and if they block it for 6, he's going to get 6. They block it for 3, he's going to get 3, and he's going to be in the right place for pass protection, that's the guy they're going to play.
Yeah, 100%. It's not rocket science. And if I know Frank Wilson the way I know him, that's the first way you'll earn yourself a nice little beautiful spot right there on the pine, and you probably won't be seeing much action after that. But I think you could see the talent of Emery, especially with him kind of knocking those cobwebs off. You know, I've watched all the backs this season. He's making the big guys miss, the SEC guys, the 4 stars, the guys who are going to these Power 5 schools. Those are the guys he's making miss, not Southern, not New Mexico. He's making those flash plays in those type of games, and so you could see the 5-star potential there. But like Coach Kelly said, that's just the last thing you can afford, especially as you get later on in the season. Turnovers can really kill you, and that almost killed you last week's game. If Auburn goes down and scores a touchdown, then we know who the GOAT would be in this town going into this week. But for John, take care of the football. Don't try to press too much, because I think we all know he should definitely be the lead back. I think he just has the most potential to make those big-time plays, and that's what I think this offense desperately needs.
But fumbles.
Well, we had one side of the line going left and the other side of the line going right. That's not a good thing. And so what actually ended up happening on the play was the backside lineman was pulling, he was not supposed to be pulling. And John didn't expect it and got run into, and the ball came loose.
So that's just a disaster of epic proportions by everybody involved there. You got linemen going the wrong way. You got a running back that's confused by that. Then he's not paying attention to the football, which he should be, and you drop it. And it was at such a ridiculous time in the game because LSU had just gotten a takeaway and was right there to put the thing away, and then you turn it over. And so the talent is not negotiable. He's bigger, faster, stronger, has the highlight reel plays, all that. I just think you're going to see a ton of Williams because they can trust where he's going to be. And I've spent a lot of time yearning for the more talented running back to play, and the safer one gets it out there. And I've told Jacob this a million times. And it turns out Les was 100% right to have Hester out there. But I'm looking at Charles Scott and Keelan Williams and Trenton Holiday, and I'm going, why do we keep giving the ball to 18? He runs for like 4 yards. And it was right, because 18 was awesome. And he got you the tough yards. He ran as hard as anybody, and they sprinkled in the other guys. And, of course, at that point, I'm 20 years old, so what the hell do I know? I just know what the recruiting services said, and that's what I go with. But everybody knows that John Emery was a number 1 or 2 back in the country coming out of high school, and you've been waiting and waiting and waiting for him to break through. And then you've got this guy that no one ever heard of as of 2 years ago, Josh Williams, who was out there in the spring game running around. You're going, why are we giving the ball to this guy? Because he knows who to block, he knows where to be, and he's going to get you what's blocked. And, hey, he ran really hard on that touchdown that helped him beat Mississippi State. And he's got some given ability. It's just not what Emery has. So, yes, all of us want that, but if I had to put money on who's going to carry the ball more, Josh Williams or John Emery in the game on Saturday, I would take Williams.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go with the safe option, especially with an offense like this. Now, you're playing against just a dead offense where it's kind of like Auburn in some ways, where they put up all the yards in the world but still only managed to score 17 points, didn't even score in the second half. This is not that Tennessee offense. So the last thing you can do is, have players out there, who you don't trust, who you feel like, hey, man, he may miss a guy. That's a strip sack. That changes the game. Oh, if he fumbles on top of that, then now you're just way behind the 8 ball there. So, yeah, I think it's looking like, probably Williams, probably a little bit of Kane in there, but I just still want to see Emery. I think as he continues to get carries, as he continues to, kind of knock those cobwebs off, you could just see him. He's the one that's breaking tackles. He's the one that doesn't look like the other guys. And so hopefully for John, he has a solid week of practice. He can kind of show the coaches he's locked in and ready to play because, I think he's just due to have a big-time football game for the Tigers.
Here is his rushing log from Saturday. This is Emery we're talking about. In the second quarter, he got on the field for the first time, ran for 4 yards. Then he got stuffed on his next carry. Didn't get anything at the goal line. Then Emery rushed for 10 yards in the third quarter, and then a few plays later ripped off the 20-yarder for the touchdown. So at that point, he had a 10-yarder, then a 20-yarder. Then he goes for 3, 2, 5, and 2 on the fumble, and the fumble was the last time he got the football. So, you had 2 where he got loose, and then, of course, had the play where they forgot about him and they flipped it out to him, and he ran it all the way down the sideline where he looked – I don't know if it was the most fundamentally sound thing to do, but the jump over the guy into the field and crashing at the 2-yard line looked really athletic. But the more reps you get, the more likely you are to see the big plays. We'll just have to see if that's in the cards for Saturday.
Yeah, I think you could definitely see the athleticism. Probably not the most conventional way of scoring a touchdown, but you got to appreciate the effort when you get down there to pay dirt. You got to try to find a way to get in there. There's nothing as a running back that's more frustrating than when you get right there on the goal line and you don't get it in. And most of the time, someone else is going to get that touchdown. So you got to try to
vultures.
Yeah, you got to find a way to get it in the end zone. But I kind of seen like John progress. Week by week. Probably wasn't the most dynamic and fascinating guy to see get the ball. When he first got back out there. with the team. But, as the season's kind of going on, you see him starting to make these splash plays. And so hopefully one of these Saturdays he can kind of put it together, maybe have one of those 15 touches type performance and goes for over 100, make a couple plays in the pass game. And then I think once that happens, I don't think there's any looking back at that point. I think they would have to roll forward with Mr. Emery.
What do you think Noah Cain's role is going to be here?
Honestly, I think it's going to look a lot like last week. I think you got to see a lot of Cain and probably a lot of Williams. They're going to mix it up in there, run that, inside zone up the middle with those guys. And, they're going to sprinkle in a little Emery when they can. And if I know Frank Wilson the way I do, whoever's kind of rolling the hottest and, probably getting those broken tackles and making some big plays, and that's kind of the guy they're probably going to roll with, towards the end of the game. So I think you're going to see a lot of Emery and you're going to see a lot of Cain and Williams early on.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Noah Cain in the first quarter ran for 3 yards twice. They put him in for 1 carry in the second quarter, and then he got 2 carries in the third quarter, a 7-yarder and a 9-yarder. So, fairly productive for those 2 carries there. But again, it was Williams that had 17 carries, and the other 2 backs combined had a total of 13. So you understand kind of where the priority lied on the road against a big-time team. Maybe in a game, well, I say that. I was about to say in a game where you feel like you may be getting into a shootout, you may go with the guy who can make the bigger plays. And as I was getting that out of my mouth, my brain was going, wait. They're not going to allow a sack because you're not in the right place in pass protection, or heaven forbid a fumble and give them a short field. So it made me retrack and go, wait a second. No, I think they just trust the other player. That's kind of what I think.
Yeah, it is. And it's just for coaches, that's kind of the stuff that keeps them up at night. When you got a guy kind of, if they're not 100% sound in the pass protection stuff, you feel like you're going to get your quarterback hit in the head. That's all we talked about in the NFL. Don't get the quarterback hit in the head. And you just saw what happened to Tua. That's the last thing you want to have as your quarterback getting hit because the back isn't picking up in protection. And then you can't parlay that with fumbling the football. It's like the absolute 2 worst thing. You cannot be able to run a lick. You can get tackled by your shoestrings every single play. If you go out there and miss your pass protection, you go out there fumbling the ball, you just will never play. And that goes for every level of football. So, like I said before, hopefully John can kind of, soothe some of those, worries with the coaches this week, because I just think he's the most dynamic back we have. We got to get that guy going.
And I don't know that Emery's terrible in pass protection. I just know how much they know that Williams is good in pass protection. And we were talking about early, you can't just put him in to pass. You've got to have the threat to run as well. So just something that's going to kind of work itself out organically throughout the season, and we'll see if things kind of shift at any point as we play more games and as Cain and Emery maybe get a little bit more comfortable. We'll just have to see. I want to remind you about Mid-South Arena Cross, the greatest arena cross in the South. Them and SSR present the Battle in the Bayou. Bring the kids this exhilarating, family-friendly event Saturday, October the 8th at Lamar Dixon. It all goes down at 7 p.m. Register, win an SSR pit bike. For full schedule, visit MidSouthArenaCross.com. Brought to you by SSR and Ascension Paris Tourism Commission. We're going to give some tickets away to Arena Cross tomorrow and Friday. So be on the lookout for that. May use the Bayou Ford chat. May use the like function. We'll just kind of see how we can handle that. We're going to get some Arena Cross tickets away. Keep your ears peeled over the next 48 hours as we continue to move forward with that promotion. All right, we'll take a timeout. Sharif Ishak with us in 15 minutes. When we come back, college football coaching carousel begins to turn, and I've been jumping Nebraska's case for like a decade now. We got a new whipping boy in town that we got to talk about next. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Ford, check out the inventory, BayouFord.com. Every new purchase, a 1,000,000-mile powertrain warranty. For the life of that vehicle, you will have it under that powertrain warranty. Check out the website. If you see something you like, the F-150, the F-250, Explorer, Expedition, any of those, check it out. They've got your mileage. They've got your price. They've got all the Carfax. It's all right there on the website. If you don't see exactly what you want, they can customize a vehicle for you and turn it around in 30, 60, 90 days. So when that car comes in, you can have it delivered right to your front door. Bayou Ford makes things so convenient with the website, BayouFord.com.
Yeah, head over to BayouFord.com. They have the all-new 2022 Ford Expedition Timberline, tinted windows, ready to lift 3 kit on there. Also, all-new 2021 Ford F-150s. They're getting $14,000 off MSRP, including the Black Widow edition.
Look, all you got to do is check out that website. As I tell you, it changes each and every day. They update it as cars come in, as cars go out. BayouFord.com is the website. Bayou Ford, where they're going to do right by you.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Shop, shop. Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah!
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer, visit your local Acura dealer.
Week 6 in the prep football season, and we get started Friday night at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Catholic High and Liberty kick off at 7, immediately followed by the Lake Urgent Care, Lake After Hours, Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Sharif Ishak with us in 13 minutes. You know, it's a lot of the websites have fun with these hot seat rankings every week during college football season. They get to them in the NFL as well, and usually, you know, guys that get fired, the writing's a little bit on the wall. Whenever Brian Harson's time ends, we've kind of known that was coming. It's very odd and very rare when there's nobody that considers anybody on the hot seat, and that person gets fired. And that's what happened with Paul Chryst over the weekend. And it's taken us a day and a half to get to it, but we got a lot to talk about at home. Paul Chryst is winning about 9 games a year at Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. In less than 8 seasons, 7 complete, he's been to 3 Big Ten championship games. They won the Rose Bowl. They've been to 3 New Year's Six games. He won 72% of his games, and they fired him. Now, I don't have all the information. Mm-hmm. There may be some sort of situation totally unrelated to football that they felt that was unacceptable and they fired him. I don't know. Or maybe they think they can do better than that. Or maybe They just want to be sure that Jim Leonard doesn't take another job. And while they've got a chance to audition him for half a season because he's done a brilliant job with their defense for 7 years, they're just going to give him that opportunity to coach out the rest of the season and see if he's up to the task. I don't know. But Wisconsin fired a guy that's winning 72% of his games. It's won the division 3 times, and he's won the division half the time, and it has won the Rose Bowl. You got to know who you are. You got to know who you are. You are playing with fire if you do that, and they are playing with fire.
Look, he should have asked for that Kirk's Ferentz package. He should have asked for that Pat Fitzgerald package because it seemed like he had something similar going on, man. Just, have a
better.
little
Way better.
Yeah. Look, they run the ball just like no one else. Like when you think of just rushing attacks every year in and year out, that you got to get that with Wisconsin year in and year out. But yeah, man, I think you hit the nail on the head. You got to know where you are as a program, and you got to know what's around you. You got to know that big monster that's in Ohio, and then Michigan seems like they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And so if you don't feel like, your program's one of those schools that's going to continue to, knock those guys off, I just don't see that avenue for Wisconsin. Like we talk about recruiting grounds and recruiting all the time. I don't know many 5-stars coming from the state of Wisconsin, man. I just can't really think of too many off the top of my head.
None.
So it's like, what do you expect to really get done there? So, yeah, I think for them, a lot of these programs that they're looking for something that's not there. How different do you think this next coach is going to be? Is he going to, go take down Ohio State? Yeah, we're going to win the Big Ten. Now you got USC coming along. It's just, I don't know, man. I hope they get it right. Jim's a great guy. I played against him in my time in the league. He knows what he's doing. He knows football. But
he's a great coach.
Yeah, but I don't know. I have no idea.
If you're Nebraska, you are toying with becoming. If you're Wisconsin, you're toying with becoming what Nebraska's become. You're toying with becoming what Tennessee has become for 15 years. You take a guy that's doing a really good job, relatively speaking, winning a lot. Winning the division, getting to the Rose Bowl, playing in 3 New Year's Six games, one every 2 years. If you get the wrong guy in there, it can fall apart real fast. And then it's hard. There are countless examples of teams doing this. And you could point to Georgia and say, well, Mark Richt was doing the exact same thing and they ran him out of town. Yeah, because Georgia's ceiling's way higher. You've got a state that produces a top 5 state in NFL talent. You don't really have to deal with Georgia Tech. You can do more than they were doing. At Wisconsin, you can't. No. I'm not saying you can't have one team. You happen to get that one quarterback that shows up, and you pop that one team that goes nuts. But year over year, over a 6-year sample size, you're not better than 9 wins a year. You're not. Mm-hmm. So be careful. It's not that easy to flip a switch and be great. Not even at the places that have more resources than you. Texas can't figure it out. USC hadn't figured it out until we'll see how this goes. You're playing with fire when you ditch a guy who does a really good job. Like on a lower scale, this reminds me of Ole Miss firing Andy Kennedy after he won the SEC tournament one year, got to the NCAA tournament a couple times. Were they great? No. But they were pushing up against their ceiling. There's not a ton of basketball talent in Mississippi. He spent his entire time there, except for the last couple of years in the Tad Pad, which was pathetic, before they built a pavilion. And you fired him, and you've been nothing special under Kermit Davis. Like, it's a little bit apples and oranges, but the point remains. Know who you are. Yep. If you're Wisconsin, you can win your division in the Big Ten. You can go to the Rose Bowl. You can compete there. Every once in a while, Ohio State's going to beat you by 50 because that's what they do. Bama beats people by 50. Ohio State beats people by 50. It happens every once in a while. And I know that rushing for 2 yards and getting dusted by Illinois and having a terrible season like you are right now is not a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. But I disagree with this vehemently. I think you are tempting fate. I mean, look, Notre Dame thought they had it figured out with a hotshot young defensive coordinator too. How'd that work out early? Doesn't look great.
At least the commercials were pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Great videos. Looks great in the quarters there. Cool walk.
Yeah, but I think, you got to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself those tough questions. And let's say you do go with Leonard. you're not going to get a huge boost in the transfer portal. Like, which direction are you going? It's like, how much different is this roster going to look right now compared to next fall? And so you're pretty much going to be trotting out the same kids, mostly recruiting the same kids. How different is this going to look, even if Leonard is the coach? Yeah, you figure the defense will be respectable. You got a guy who knows what he's doing there. Now you got to find an offensive coordinator. You've kind of had your identity. We kind of all know Wisconsin, they're going to recruit the crap out of linemen. They're going to run the ball. What are you going to do? I just think when you make decisions like this, you should have a plan.
I'm sure they do.
Emotionally driven.
I'm skeptical of it.
Yeah, this one kind of seems emotionally driven. I don't think if this team starts this season out the way they have, normally those tea leaves are on the wall. I just didn't get that from Wisconsin going into the season like, oh, they're probably going to be firing their coach if they're not off to a hot start. I just didn't feel that way. So we'll see where it goes, man. I just, if they don't find a guy, I mean, even if they go with Leonard, I think it's just not going to, how much different is that going to look from what it looked like this year?
Yeah, we'll see. The rest of the CBS Sports Hot Seats rankings, the top of the list was Herm Edwards and Scott Frost. They have both been fired. Now the top of the list is Brian Harsin. They do this 1 through 5, 5 being win or you're fired, and Harsin is at a 4. So is Andy Avalos at Boise State. Scott Satterfield at Louisville. They just haven't gotten it in gear over the last 5 years since Lamar left, and he hasn't done a great job there. Look, he's 14-20 over his last 2+ seasons. Not great for Scott Satterfield. Willie Taggart's probably on his last leg as a head coach for a long time at FAU. They are really bad. After Lane won some games, they're 12-15 under Taggart and 2-8 in their last 10. But none of those were important. Here's the one that I wanted to touch on here as a 3 on the hot seat meter. Jimbo Fisher. And it starts with no, Jimbo's not going to be fired in 22, which he's not. He is absolutely not. But for the first time, there's a little bit of a seed of doubt in College Station. You go 8-4 a couple times early, okay, whatever. You get dusted by 50 by Joe Burrow. Well, they scored 50 on Alabama too, and they scored 80 on Oklahoma, and they dusted Clemson. Okay, we'll forgive you for that. Then you come back the next year in a COVID year, and you go 9-1. 8-1, I guess, and then you beat Bama the next year, and you continue to kind of feel the optimism. And then all of a sudden, you start losing games, and your side of the football, you can't blame the starting quarterback getting hurt last year anymore. You've got your quarterbacks, and you can't score. So, interesting that the national media would slide him over there.
Yeah, I think the best and the worst thing happened in Texas A&M this last offseason. When you get the number one recruiting class in the country, all eyes are going to go to College Station, and they're going to want to know what you do with that. And so I think for Jimbo, if you kind of have those 5, maybe 6, maybe 7, these top 10 classes, it's like, okay, like you're playing Alabama, the SEC is really tough, but the second you go get the best recruiting class in the country, people are going to want results. And I know a lot of those kids are young, but, he's been there. He's had tenure there, and those offenses just haven't been great. And when you go hire the offensive-minded play caller that's won a national championship, you expect points, you expect touchdowns, you expect production, you expect execution, and it's just not been the case for A&M. And it's like, how does that turn around? I mean, they're going to really be depending on their quarterback play. They hope that freshman can turn it around, because looking at them play, their quarterbacks are getting beat to a pulp. They can't really pass the ball at a high level. And what I didn't know, I was giving that defense way too much credit. They have one of the worst rush defense in the country right now. So it's not, things are looking bright in College Station, man. I tried to warn you before the season, but I guess you got to find out the hard way.
Well, and we'll see. So this is the deal. What the discussion is going to be with A&M now in the offseason, because this year is going to spiral on them. They're going to lose a few more games. So you're either going to have a fourth-year Max Johnson. You're going to have a third-year Haynes King, a second-year Connor Wegman, or whatever you can get out of the transfer portal. But you lose Devon Achane and Ananias Smith, who are basically your entire offense. But you get that recruiting class is going to be sophomores next year, whatever's left. If it doesn't go well next year, it doesn't start as when's A&M going to turn the corner next year. It starts as, is this the end? Now, they can write that story any way they want. They can go win the national championship or go 6-6. I mean, the way the narrative starts with not when are they going to turn the corner. The narrative starts next year with, okay, you've got all the pieces here. when's it going to happen? And that's a different story than we've been singing over in College Station for the last couple of years.
No, it is. And I think, right now the pressure is as high as it's ever been because you kind of have everything you need. If you're, I've been on Texacs a little bit, they got everything they need. They got the money, they got the recruits, they got everything you could ever ask for. But the avenue, that's to me is the most important thing because if A&M were to make that huge leap and go do what, everyone in College Station thinks they're going to do, you got to go beat Alabama. You're most likely going to have to go beat Georgia in the SEC championship. You got to, go through this entire SEC West slate and really win. You probably can only afford to lose one game. That's just ultimate domination, and I just haven't seen that from Jimbo and that Texas A&M program, even with all the recruits and all the money they're pumping into that program, all the NIL dollars and stimulus package they're giving it out. So that's not going to change next year. Alabama's not going anywhere. Georgia's not going anywhere. What do you think's going to happen? I just don't see it. And if Jimbo's going to be calling the plays, what is he going to turn into Kyle Shanahan overnight? Like, is he going to turn into Lane Kiffin? Like, I don't see it. And it brings me so much joy. I can't keep this smile off my face right now because I really can't figure out how the Aggies are going to change this thing around. There's just so much pressure going to be coming down on that program, especially next year. You thought it was pressure this year. Next year it's going to just be hot seat for real. Jimbo will make it through this year. They may win 6 games or 7 games. He'll make it through this year. But next year, I don't see him repeating what he did this year. If they go 7-5 or 8-4 like we always say next year, the pitchforks may be coming out.
That's what someone did.
Yeah, why fire someone? We could have kept this guy in there and done the same exact thing. So the pitchforks will definitely come out next year if they don't turn this thing around very, very quickly.
Sharif Ishak from WDSU next. It's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening. with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys. For those
NFL is back. Our coverage starts Sunday at 10 a.m. with Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday with Jimmy Ott, immediately followed by the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers at noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Straight to the phone, Sharif Ishak, WDSU. Sharif, have you hit the panic button yet?
No, but it's on it. My hand is on that red button.
It's on the desk. It's at the ready.
Oh, dude. It's like I'm like kind of like wiggling it a little bit. Like it kind of feel like it's getting pushed in, and I'm like, ooh, man, maybe one more game, and I'm just gonna start slapping it hard on that red button and break the red button because it's getting to that point.
Is this quarterback related, Carmichael related, injury related, losses related? What's the issue here?
You forgot to put officials in there too.
Those are tougher to fix.
Yes, it's everything, man. There are absolutely no excuses here. It's everything. Eric McCoy says not panic, but there's a lot of sense of urgency, and I would agree with him. I mean, I'd almost say it's pretty much panic time. And the only thing saving them is the rest of the NFC is 2-2 pretty much, with the exception of the Eagles, Giants, and Cowboys. So their division isn't good. Division offensively is terrible. I mean, that's their saving grace. The NFC South is not good at all when it comes to the offense. And, there was a little glimmer of hope for the Saints offense with Andy Dalton. You remember he's doing it without Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. He did miss a couple throws to Chris Olave. Both of them were down the sideline. The one late in the game where everyone was complaining that it should have been a pass interference. But it's a little underthrown, and maybe Olave could have gone up to go get it. But he did good. He did good as the game went on. That fumble was killer, man. We're going to start there. The 11 turnovers, the giveaways, dead last in the NFL. That's an absolute issue more than the penalties to me because they're putting the defense in bad spots throughout the games to start the season. This defense has certainly saved them a few times from those turnovers, but the fumbles are just so sloppy. They've got 6 fumbles this year through 4 games. All of last season, just 5. That is stuff you have to correct off top, the fumbles.
Where are you on – what are you hearing on Jameis? And is this a year-long thing? Is there any effort to fix it? Do they think Dalton can help for a couple of weeks? Does that help Jameis? Where are we there?
We're at the point where they're not going to put him out there if he's not 100%. They're just not going to put him out there if it's going to make that injury even worse. And you kept hearing that it can't get worse, but I think they want him to become 100%. They feel like he is trying to play through the injury, and it's affecting the way he's playing the game. Point blank. I just think they got to make better decisions, injury or no injury. I know he doesn't want to use the injury as an excuse to those first 3 games he played in, but you got to make better decisions. And when it comes down to it, you're missing throws, you're not going through your reads, and it's just you're missing wide open guys. That's what it comes down to. And that's when you start pressing and you start making the mistakes. That's what I have seen in the first 3 games with Jameis Winston. It's the mistakes that he's just missing on guys. He starts to press. It worked for one quarter. It didn't work for the other 11 quarters.
Call me crazy, Sharif, but it seems like Saints fans were a lot more upset with losing Latavius Murray than their Super Bowl winning head coach Sean Payton, especially if you go on Twitter. Do you even think that's a big of a deal as a lot of people are making it seem to be?
Yeah, that's the type of season it's gotten to, when you are just in shambles that you lost Latavius Murray. And I understand he had a really good game against the Vikings. Essentially, that he's a strong runner. He doesn't really fumble much. He gets you the hard-nosed yards. He's a nice solid back. But this is on Latavius Murray. The Saints had nothing to do with this. I mean, they could have kept him on the 53-man roster like if they wanted to do it last week. But when the rules come to poaching, Monday is the day to poach a player. Tuesday is the day where you can protect him. And it was on Latavius. He's the one who wanted to go to the Denver Broncos. The Saints tried to keep him, and it didn't work out. And he decided to go to Denver, and it just stinks because of the way the season is going. It's just another, you're adding another insult to injury. I mean, that's just how it's been. It's just been that type of bad luck for them that he would, he probably went somewhere where he's going to get more playing time and where the quarterback, there's more upside there. I don't blame him. I don't blame him for the opportunity. Anybody else would probably do it too. Because when Alvin comes back healthy, where is he at in the playing rotation? I think I would play him ahead of Mark Ingram if he would have stayed. That's just me. I would have played him a lot more Sunday against the Vikings.
Where do you think Kamara is as far as coming back?
Man, look, I don't know what's going on with his rib injury. I don't know if it's like cartilage related or bone related, but he just doesn't look right. And I can't believe it happened in the first game. I don't know if he was hurt before this game started, during training camp. It is just unreal how the team is one of the more injured teams before the season starts. I just find that crazy. The injury list is constantly one of the longest injury lists in all of NFL every week, and even before the season starts. Something has to change. I mean, they've got to find a way to keep these guys healthy. I understand it's a gladiator sport. You get hurt in games. But, I mean, at some point, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just a bad luck thing with the Saints. It's just things have not started out right the first 4 games. But I'd assume if they let him go and, they're fine with Tony Jones and Dwayne Washington if Alvin isn't ready.
You still confident in the defense?
Am I still what?
Confident in the defense? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the fumble by Hardy and the fumble by Dalton really put them in bad spots. And all they did was give up field goals. And then they've done their job for most part. And now the issue I run into is the same thing I've told you guys the first, 3 games of the season. They're giving up 1 or 2 big plays. And Marshawn Lattimore got cooked. He got cooked by Justin Jefferson. There's no other way to say it. The all-pro defensive back for you got cooked by a really good receiver. Those are the big plays. That was the only issue to me. They were just getting destroyed by Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen at times. But for outside of that, I mean, they've done their job. They've gotten off the field. They've forced in their first interception of the year. Can't believe it took 4 games, but they've done their job for the most part. It's the offense that has to get off the faster starts. You just can't have these slow starts and put your defense in that situation for most of the game, asking them to make plays, each series. But they would tell you that they need to do better, but I thought you saw them play a little bit better in terms of pressure and forcing a turnover and even getting off the field at times. But, yeah, I'm still good with the defense. They just got to force a few more turnovers.
Got a lot of folks in the Bayou 4 chat bringing up Dennis Allen's career record as a head coach, which is 9-31 to this point. Do you think that was the direction the Saints should have went in as far as head coach?
I'm okay with it for right now, and I understand why anyone would question it through the first 4 games. It just looks bad, and it looks worse considering the weapons that you were given on offense. I was wondering about Pete Carmichael. Is it Pete Carmichael? Should they have not asked him to come back when he said he didn't want to do it? I'm always the person who's like, hey, don't beg someone to come back when they already has stepped away. Don't ask them, don't beg them to do something maybe they don't want to do. Maybe they could have gone a different direction there. I'm anxious to see if it continues in this direction, if the offense doesn't consistently play better from start to finish, no matter who the quarterback is. I wonder if, after the season or maybe during the season, if they go to Ronald Curry or someone else as their play. It would have to be Ronald Curry as their play caller. But, Andy Dalton made him look good whenever the offense was rolling down the field. So maybe Andy Dalton will be the savior of the offense over the next couple weeks.
Thoughts on Saints Seahawks Sunday?
Man, I've been wrong.
Gino almost hung 50 last week.
Yeah, he did on the Lions, and another Saints coach on that. The head coach Dan Campbell gave us 48 points. So Saints are favored, I see, by 5.5 points. So Vegas must know something I don't know. I guess Mike and Alvin are coming back and being at home back-to-back weeks. I'm just anxious to see how this week and then next week goes, because I know how the LSU fans are so excited about their NFL team next weekend coming to the Dome.
You cranky about that, Sharif?
They can be fans of the Bengals. That's
right.
fine.
All right. We appreciate your time. We'll do it again next week, Sharif.
All right. That's cool.
Sharif Fashak, WDSU. We'll come back and wrap it up with Take It or Leave It. It's Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
One Bath and Closets. The website is onebathandclosets.com. Guys, if you're like me, my wife constantly is telling me she needs better closets, she needs a better bathroom. That's what One Bath and Closets is here to do for you. David Duvall has been in the business for 3 decades, redesigning and remodeling bathrooms. If you need to knock a wall out and go crazy and totally revamp your bathroom or closet, they can do that. If you just need to better use your space in a closet, they can do that as well. You don't have to up and move to enjoy your home. Let One Bath and Closet optimize your current space. They promise they're not going to take any shortcuts. They're not going to be coming back weeks later, months later to fix something that wasn't done properly. The difference with One Bath and Closets is they're going to do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. Check out the website, onebathandclosets.com. Let David and his crew come in, optimize your closet space, optimize your bathroom space, and make it look like a brand new home. One Bath and Closets, the website, onebathandclosets.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. What did Sean Salisbury see from Andy Dalton? Peter Burns stops by to talk SEC. Join us Tuesday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I'm getting excited about this game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to say that like 8 times for the next 3 days.
No, it's a big one. It's and I hear it's sold out already, so that's always a great
They
sign.
did announce a sellout today. Tennessee's wearing their atrocious uniforms, smoky gray, not a school color. Looks awful. Going to look awful Saturday. We'll come out of the tunnel in gorgeous uniforms. We'll be up in the uniform category 1,000-0 before they even kick it off. Just doesn't necessarily count much on the scoreboard when we move forward. But I'll be bummed if we lose to a team that looks that dumb. But we'll see. All right, take it or leave it. Let's fire away.
Alrighty here. Excuse me. During the Rams and 49ers Monday Night Football game, there was a fan who decided to run on the field and was absolutely blasted by Rams linebacker Bobby Wagner. Are you taking or leaving? Not the brightest idea to run near a 250-pound linebacker while storming the field.
Why are people storming the field? Why? I'm going to take it. It's not the brightest idea. It's stupid. Is there any part of it that is enjoyable enough to lessen the impact of the time in jail and the bail and the criminal charges that may follow? Like, what is the enjoyment of it? Running around on the field? Go run around in the park. With the smoke bomb? It's bad. It's just bad. Alabama starting quarterback Bryce Young listed as day-to-day with a shoulder injury that he suffered against Arkansas. Without Bryce Young, Alabama should be still heavily favored over the Aggies.
I think you should double it. Whatever the spread is, double it, because it's going to be
like 40 at that point.
it's going to be a bloodbath when they play Alabama. It's just, I can't wait. It's just a glorious 2 weeks of Texacs that I just get to take in, wallow in, go on the forums, be entrenched with the people. It's going to be great. I can't wait to watch that. I never thought I'd be just enjoying watching Alabama just totally obliterate another opponent, but this week I can endure this week. This week will just be beautiful. It'll be beautiful to see.
I pull for Alabama against A&M most of the time because I've already lost the war with Alabama. The war's over. They got 114 national championships. They're probably going to win another one. They're coming. I'm trying to. I can't do anything about that mountain. It's already formed. I can keep the anthill as an anthill, and that's the goal here, to keep A&M as the anthill. So, the little momentum we can get for them is better. But I'm still a little skeptical of Alabama's offense without Bryce Young and the lack of playmakers that we've talked about a little bit. Would it shock me if they went out there and beat them 48-10? No, it would not. But there's just Bryce Young they get dusted in Austin if he's not taking snaps.
Yeah, for sure.
And Texas isn't that good. So it's a big deal. So that's interesting.
All right, here, you want to get that one?
Yeah, Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones says his starting quarterback Dak Prescott is not ready to play, but he's not going to rule him out for Sunday's game. The Cowboys will be making a mistake allowing Dak to play in this week's game. Taylor, take it or leave it.
I will take this all day long. Cooper Rush is playing really well. Why rush Dak back right now?
Why rush Dak back? That's very well done, Taylor.
Nice.
A true pro over there.
Nice.
Using those puns, getting it done.
There you go. All right, I'll go here. United States captain Zach Johnson says he does not know if Tiger Woods will be around next year, but he definitely will be a part of the Ryder Cup team. Great idea to keep a 47-year-old Tiger on the Ryder Cup team. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it. He means as a captain or an assistant captain. That's where Tiger will definitely come in. Tiger does a couple things when he's assistant captain. One, he really fires up the guys. He's got the most powerful voice in the room. Two, if there's like a 22-year-old European guy who's kind of feeling a little bit of pressure, they send Tiger to that match. Now, you got to tee off, and Tiger's going to stand there with his arms crossed watching you hit. All right, buddy? Greatest player who ever held a club. Right there, he wants you to shank it. All right? Let's see what you got. If there's an intimidation factor that he can just bring by standing on the tee box. I mean, he's not going to matter. Rory doesn't care if he's standing there for the Europeans, but you get one of the Højgaard twins who's never even been in a major, and they're in their first Ryder Cup. Tiger can make them buckle, and that's what we need him out there for.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Look, anything Tiger related, I'll just love him. See that the fact that he's even still playing is just fascinating to me. So yeah, I'm with this. I'll take this as well.
Ryder Cup is in Rome this coming year. That means it's going to start at 3, maybe 2 a.m. That's going to be an early wake-up call for me, but we'll get it done. we will be awake for the first tee-ball of the Ryder Cup next year in the fall when that does happen. That'll do it here for Take It or Leave It. Locked and loaded show today. Had an LSU stat dive on how this offense has progressed and what the statistics are saying. It kind of mirrors what we've seen. We went into some of the statistics, and a couple are a little bit jarring at the top of the show. Talked about the Saints and Latavius Murray, that situation with Latavius going up to Denver. That was at 1:15. Glenn West, Go 247, always a really good guest for us. He was on at 1:30. 2 o'clock, we talked about this LSU Fighting Tiger running game. Williams, Emery, Kane, what do we think is going to happen moving forward? Jeremy had his thoughts on the way Frank Wilson would handle that, as Jeremy certainly played for Frank Wilson. College football coaches on the hot seat at 2:15. Sharif Ishak talking Saints at 2:30. Catch it all on demand, 1045ESPN.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you get your audio. You can find our stuff on demand each and every day. Excited for tomorrow's show. Going to go up to Knoxville and talk with Mike Wilson, who covers the Vols, get a first look at them. J.D. Fackel of On 3 on the national scene at 1:15, and we'll, of course, go back to our SEC Power Rankings that we do each and every Wednesday. Tonight, Plucker Sports Trivia, Nicholson location, 8:30. I will be out there. Jimmy Ott's Game Time, 6 to 8 this evening. Matt Moscona about to drive you home on After Further Review. Have a wonderful Wednesday night. We are back 1 to 3 every single weekday, including tomorrow, which is Wednesday. Have a great one. Hunt and Hill.